Here's week 9 of the GBA. This one's against Tony Danza and the Los Angeles Nidokings. Danza's got a really formidable team considering how poorly he's done this season. He's the previous season's champion, so obviously he's got a good team. It's just not exactly working out for him this year. This match, I wanted to kind of make a point. People have been kind of calling my team monofaceted. All I can do is run Rain. I can't do anything outside of Rain. I'm trying to prove those people wrong. I do have one kind of issue. He's got Staraptor on his team, and Staraptor 2-hit KOs everything that I have on my roster. So my game plan for it, honestly, was sacrifice Amoonguss for Brave Bird recoil and go from there. But thankfully, he didn't even wind up bringing it, which I think is a huge oversight on his behalf, but whatever. Anyway, I get the advantage in the leadoff. It's a ground type against an electric type. Ground type wins, and I'm just going to go for knockoff. Obviously, it's not going to knock off Mega Venusaur's item. That's his Mega, so I'm going to try and keep up the illusion that I'm Scarfed and just hard switch out into Amoonguss. Not that I could Volt Switch or U-turn or anything, but not stay in and go for a hit, because I'm expecting kind of a Giga Drain. But he goes right for HP Fire, so he's getting a little bit predicty really early. Gets a crit, no big deal, and if I'm in here against this Venusaur, I'm just going to go for another hit. Try and see what I can do. He gets another crit, which that one's kind of a big deal because now I have to switch and I got to go somewhere. I could also stay in and go for Spore, expecting him to switch, but I also didn't really expect him to switch. So the only play really, if he's going for Sludge Bomb, is to go to Mega Scizor, be immune to it, and then maybe I'll figure out what his hidden power is. If he goes for it against Scizor, then it's probably Fire. If he doesn't, then it's probably Ice. So I don't want to sit in here and get scalded. I can't really do anything. That Scissor's a baton pass set. It's meant to get a focus energy and +2 speed into Kingdra, and that's pretty much his mission. On the Scald, Amoonguss gets burned. Whatever, not a big deal. Amoonguss has kind of taken a beating all the way already, and I went for Spore. Didn't really matter. Venusaur came back in. No big deal. And I'm going to switch out here, expecting another Sludge Bomb to come to play, and I want a little bit more Regenerator back, and this will confirm what hidden power he is, if it's Fire, if it's Ice. If he goes for it, it's Fire, and he winds up going for it, so it winds up, in my mind at least, it's Fire. He's sitting around half HP, which is unusual. He could have, Synthesis there, which is kind of what I was expecting more than anything. But the fact that he didn't, and the fact that I do have the Threat of Rain, although I didn't bring it, makes me think maybe he's not packing Synthesis on that Venusaur, because Synthesis is weakened in the rain. And, he kind of could have seen it as a waste of a move, so that's interesting to note. Just the threat of rain is making people make weird team decisions. Anyway, Sludge Bomb does virtually nothing to Gengar, which I thought was kind of funky, and I'm just going to go to Scizor for it. I'm going to be able to Bullet Punch. I have Threat of Pursuit, Threat of Knockoff, all these things, as he sets up a sub, so I'm thinking he's probably going to want to disable, so I'm just going to go for Bullet Punch, break his sub first, and that's my only attack, so then it's going to be time to either switch out or set up, and Amoonguss being burned, I don't really trust it to handle Gengar at this point. And he winds up going for Will-O-Wisp, which is kind of a weird move on Gengar, especially a sub Gengar, but that's what he decided to run. And now I've got to make a decision. He's got Empoleon, so setting up right now isn't the best idea, but I'm still going to put a hole in his team if I can get +2/+1 critical to Kingdra. I'm already in here, and I'm already against the special attacker, which this is especially bulky Scizor, so I decided to go for it. And I think I take about 23 or 24 points from a burn. I'm not exactly sure, but he winds up leaving me at 21. So unfortunately, I'm going to go down to burn, and that means not only do I lose Scizor, but Kingdra is infinitely less useful now. So I'm really bummed by that, and that's a huge crush to my team. I'm just going to go to Crocodile. Honestly, I was expecting, I was hoping for a Focus Blast miss, but he winds up being slower than Crocodile, which was weird, and he goes into Weavile next, which resists knockoff, so I think if he wants to think I'm Scarfed and go for a knockoff or something on a switch, I'm going to stand and go for Stone Edge and try and kill the bloody thing, and that's exactly what winds up happening. He told me later that he was a defensive Gengar, so whether or not he thought I was Scarfed, I don't know, but he must have, because that was a bit of a silly move. He could have gone for a fighting move, he could have gone for an Ice Punch and killed me, but instead I get a sweet little KO. Anyway, Venusaur comes in, it's sitting around half, and I think half is just above the damage range that I can KO him at, so I'm just going to go sacrifice some Amoonguss to get a little bit more damage on this thing, and then maybe bring Crocodile right back in and go for an Earthquake, because I don't think he has anything immune to it anymore. Gengar was kind of his option, and now it's gone because he didn't bring Staraptor. So right back to Crocodile. I'm sitting. It's at a range where I think I can KO it now, and he decides to save it. He decides to go out into Scrafty. Scrafty can take Earthquakes, okay. It's got decent enough bulk, so that's a solid move. He can go for Mach Punch, I think. He can go for Drain Punch. I don't want to stain against this thing. The number one thing I have for Scrafty is Quagsire. If he wants to be Dragon Dance bulk up, Quagsire doesn't give a shit. I didn't see him Intimidate, so I don't know if he's going to be Shed Skin or Moxie. But I've got to get a Toxic on there anyway, just to see like what he is, what he's going to go for. But he winds up going to a Steel type. It's a good move because I could have also gone for Earthquake and really wrecked this Empoleon, but because he wrote Empoleon in, I can't risk that thing getting a Grass Knot off on me because that is my number one counter to that Scrafty, so I need to keep it around. Anyway, Kingdra's perfect Death Fodder. It's going to take a Grass Knot, and it's going to get a free hit off now. I went for HP Electric because I was staring at Empoleon, but I probably could have predicted the switch a bit better and gone for a better hit. Winds up going to Raikou to resist it, and he gets a bit predicty again, and overpredicts. He expected me to expect an electric move and go into Crocodile, I guess, and he goes for Signal Beam, which it's an interesting move to have against my team. I take him out with a crit Draco Meteor. I don't think that crit meant anything, and even if it did, I'm carrying a Scope Lens, so I mean, I don't really care. I have an increased crit chance anyway, so Scrafty comes back in. Again, Quagsire is the best thing I have to take it. And the best thing he can do is fire off Drain Punches, and I'm eventually going to land a Toxic on it. I'm eventually going to get Earthquakes off on both this thing, on Mega Venusaur, and on Empoleon. So at this point the game's looking pretty wrapped up. He just doesn't have the resources to break through my walls. Between Quagsire and Quagsire is like my main wall. I've also got Reuniclus though if he wants to go for grass moves, and Reuniclus also has Focus Blast, so I've got Quagsire for Scrafty, and I've got Reuniclus for everything else. So, and I've also got a Kingdra for Death Fodder, and I've got a Crocodile to boot. So, it's just not looking good for him. And he's gonna play it out. And he's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna take a while, but I think at the end of the day, I'm eventually gonna get there. And I think I wind up sacking Kingdra at some point, but everything else stays alive, so it winds up being a 3-0 victory in my favor. And I couldn't really be happier about that. It's a good solid victory, especially against a good team like Danza's. So it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a 3-0 victory, and I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at the next 3 weeks. I've got Steve, I've got Shady, and I've got Steve. Those are 2 guys who are right in the playoff hunt with me. So if I can win 2 out of those 3 games, I don't really care which 3, which 2, I guess. I'm going to be looking very, very sharp for a playoff spot at this point. Since making the trade for Politoed, I am on a 2-3. What am I now? 5-3, 6-3. So I'm on a bit of a win streak. Although I should have lost to Gubbs if he played a bit correctly, and the game against Kyle was, was a forfeit, but I did wind up going back and beating him, I guess. But it turns out it looks like I made the right trades, I guess. So my team is looking scary. I'm looking forward to a long and prosperous tenure among the league leaders. So I guess thanks for watching. I'm trying to drag this out, but I really shouldn't. I'm really bad at it, and man, I think I missed a few Focus Blasts here, which is kind of ruining my mood. There we go. I finally got one. That's sweet. If I'm going to Spadef drop, not that it matters, because the Psyshock's going to be able to finish the job from here. So, whew. Good game, Danza. Sorry it didn't work out for you this season, but chin up, and I guess good luck moving forward, man.